Hi, my name is Camille, and today I'm going to talk to you about being a happier, better person. I know that's an immensely huge topic, so I'm going to boil it down to the single thing that I believe every good person has, and that is empathy. So what is empathy? At its root, it is a person's ability to deeply understand and feel the emotions of others. It is the ability to look at a person in pain and be in pain too for them. However, it is also the ability to see someone who is so ecstatic that you become ecstatic too. Being receptive to happiness is a huge part of being a happier, better person, and I believe empathy is the key to this. To me, the capability to interpret someone else's emotions as your own is deeply tied to your own morality, generosity, thoughtfulness, and mindfulness. It helps you make better decisions by helping you to understand the consequences that your actions have on others. It prevents us from being selfish or cruel and living with no regard for others. So how do people learn empathy? During childhood, we learn it by watching the effects of our actions on those around us, or by being the victim of a selfish act. We can also learn it by reading books, watching movies, or playing video games, by being given a new perspective on a situation that we would not normally get to see. So this is why empathy is so important. It's a crucial part of problem mediation on large and small scales. By seeing these new perspectives, we can rationalize the actions of others, humanize them, and understand the decisions they make, even if we don't agree. The reason that I chose to talk about this topic in particular is because of a video game that changed me and the way that I think about my relationship with others and the world around me. That game is The Last of Us. It's a post-apocalyptic game about a man named Joel who loses his daughter when the zombie apocalypse begins, and 20 years later is forced to make a treacherous journey across the post-apocalyptic United States with a 14-year-old girl named Ellie. Here's a short trailer so you can understand a bit more of what I'm talking about.
Somebody, we've just been through hell. Okay, we just need... Shit. Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know. Listen to me, I know this one. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me.
I need something smuggled out of the city. I want Joel to watch over her.
Whoa, I don't think that's
I'm not
Ellie.
Jesus Christ.
Just cargo, Joel.
Now watch your step as you're going up, because it's gonna be a little...
I don't even know.
Here's how this thing's gonna play out. You do what I say, when I say it. We clear?
Sure.
Repeat it.
What you say goes.
Jimmy, I am warning you! Don't! I need to remind you what is out there.
Fuck you, man. I didn't ask for this.
Me neither.
Once upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about. And in this world, that sort of shit's good for one thing. Get you killed.
Got this.
This is not us.
What do you know about us? About me?
I know that you are smarter than this.
Really? Guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time.
We are survivors.
This is our chance!
It is over, Tess!
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
After all we've been through. Everything that I've done. It can't be for nothing.
So, as you can see, this game is pretty brutal. It's hard for me to explain the moral intricacies that made this game so profound to me, so I'll try to summarize. It made me realize that good is not absolute, nor is it easy to define. Each person in the game is doing what they need to do to survive and protect those they love. In a post-apocalyptic world, there are no easy decisions, and having empathy will only get you killed. But the game frames the characters in a different way. Joel isn't a good person. Marlene, the leader of the rebel group the Fireflies, isn't a good person either. Neither is the soldier that kills Joel's daughter at the beginning of the game, or even Ellie. But they're not bad people either. No matter how many people Joel kills, he does it all to protect Ellie because of how scared he is of losing her after his daughter is killed. Marlene, who tries to have Ellie killed, only does it to produce a vaccine for the fungus to save the lives of hundreds of millions of people. Even David, the cannibal who tries to chop up Ellie into bits and eat her for dinner, was only trying to keep his community fed and protected. The soldier that shoots Joel's daughter was merely following orders that were given to him with the intent to protect the people who had a chance at avoiding infection. Playing this game has made me empathize with even the people who are framed as villains. It made me see how impossible it is to understand the point of view of every person you meet on the street, and it made me realize that if I really knew what each person was going through, I bet I wouldn't think they're a villain. I even got a tattoo of the Firefly symbol to look at every day and be reminded of this. Now, there are a lot of books and movies and TV shows and plays that explore similar themes of moral ambiguity and the depths of relationships and emotions that affect our actions. But I don't have any tattoos from books or movies or plays, and it's not because I don't involve myself in that media, because, trust me, I do. But I truly think that the reason that The Last of Us was so successful in its endeavor to make players connect with and empathize with the characters is because it's a video game. Atticus Finch from Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird once said, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." And I think that this could not be more true, and it's exactly what video games are designed to do. If you've ever played a video game, you know how frustrating it can be when you get to a hard level and you keep on getting defeated. In a book or a movie or anything like that, when a character dies, you say, "Oh, I can't believe this character died." But that's not what you say when a character you play as dies in a video game. You say, "I died. I can't believe I just died." Not, "Oh, my character died." And that's because video games allow us to take Atticus's advice, to crawl inside another person's skin and take a walk around in it. And that's really what empathy is, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they feel. Now I'm going to talk about another unique perspective that video games offer us, and that is the perspective of reversibility and immortality. Now obviously, when we make decisions in real life, those decisions are permanent, and sometimes if we make the wrong choice or a series of wrong choices, we die. And that's why it's so amazing to be able to pick up a game, try it out, play a few times in different ways, and adjust your decisions to elicit your ideal outcome. One game that does an exemplary job of showing us the effects of every decision we make is Detroit Become Human, an advanced choice-based video game about futuristic, human-like androids that become self-aware and start fighting for their rights. The game is structured into hour or so long chapters, each centered around one of 3 different characters, and at the end of each chapter, you see one of these. It's a map of everything that could have happened and everything that did happen. It allows you to see all the choices you made and how it affected the outcome of that section. However, you can't see the outcomes unless you replay it and make different choices. This is really an amazing tool because usually, in nearly any other context, this is absolutely impossible. It's like a special power that we get when we play video games, to see into the past and change the future, and it's immensely powerful. One situation that made me understand why this is so powerful is one that was presented in the beginning of Detroit Become Human. One android that the story centers around is named Kara, and she is the caretaker for a young girl named Alice, whose father is an abusive addict that constantly puts Kara and Alice in danger. In one scene, Alice's father begins to threaten and beat Alice while Kara is ordered to stay put and not intervene. But the player is given a series of choices as Kara: to intervene or not, to hurt Alice's father and put herself in harm's way instead, or to murder him to protect the young girl. In both the game and real life, these are not easy situations to be in or to make decisions about. When we remove the threat of pain or a true permanent death, the situations suddenly become much easier to address. In a real situation, like deciding whether or not to intervene when a man abuses his daughter, your first instinct might be to run or call the cops and let them figure it out. But when we remove the need for self-preservation, but we still feel the connection to the characters in the story, it suddenly becomes much more obvious what the right decision is. And in this way, we can become better people. We can judge people in situations more fairly when we understand that each person has their own reasons for acting the way that they do. By playing video games, we can practice empathy. And just like riding a bike or learning a language or doing nearly anything else, the more we do it, the better we will be. The more often we practice fair decision making in a situation, the better we'll be at making decisions. The same goes for problem solving, problem mediation, and simply acknowledging the humanity and inherent faults of others. Being empathetic is about practice and constant improvement, and constantly reminding yourself of the complexity of the world and each person's unique situation and the problems that they face. There's a word to describe a feeling that I'm sure most everyone knows, but doesn't know how to describe. The word is sonder, and it's used to define that strange feeling that arises when a person comes to the realization that each person that exists now or has ever existed has had a life as complex and strange and beautiful as one's own. I love to bring up this word because whenever I think about it, it helps me practice empathy on a larger scale. It reminds me that it's not just the people that I interact with or know that are deserving of my kindness. Every person in the entire world has a life more complex and beautiful and strange than I will ever know. They have their own inside jokes, favorite snacks, best memories, and worst fears, and that is so humanizing. I think everyone listening to this would agree that it's easier to go through life being happy. And when we practice empathy, we can let go of the expectation that everything will always go our way, because someone somewhere will make a mistake that causes us distress. Your coffee order might get messed up because the barista is too distracted, or maybe you'll get in a car crash because a person forgot their glasses at home. But when we put it all into perspective and realize that we could have just as easily made the same mistakes, we are released from the burden of grudges and unhappiness. And in turn, we become happier people that make the world a better place just by happily existing and radiating the positivity that other empathetic people can pick up and spread themselves. Lastly, remember the things you learn passively. Playing video games is often so fun that we forget to acknowledge the things that they have to offer. Games are so powerful and can affect so much change in the world, as we've all seen so far. Games can teach us, calm us, unite or divide us, and change us. I truly do think we would all be better off if the whole world played video games. So thank you for listening to my reasons why.